In the studio with me, Bishop Council Nedd II, a founding member of Project 21, chairman of In God We Trust. Nationalcenter.org is the website, nationalcenter.org/p21index.html. But we'll have a link to it over at thomhartmann.com. You can find it. Nice to see you again.
Thanks for having me on again.
Thanks for joining us. We have this story here by Todd Sarnes at Fox News that two Christian ministers who own an Idaho wedding chapel have said that they are concerned. Nobody's actually threatened to prosecute them, and the government has not said that they're going to, but the Alliance Defending Freedom is representing Donald and Evelyn Knapp, two ordained ministers who own the Hitching Post Wedding Chapel in Coeur d'Alene in Idaho. And their lawyer, Jeremy Tedesco, says right now they're at risk of being prosecuted, the threat of enforcement. And the reason why is because they're saying, yeah, we run a wedding chapel and we don't want to marry gay people. What's wrong with saying to somebody, and by the way, their business is incorporated as a for-profit business, which means that they have to comply with the anti-discrimination laws. What's wrong with saying if you're going to run a for-profit business, you can't discriminate against people?
Well, honestly, I think there is probably not a problem with that. I think that's where this gentleman gets into trouble. If he's running some sort of for-profit religion sort of thing, I personally have an issue with that. I was ordained to the priesthood in 1998, became bishop 2005. And, in that time, I guess maybe 14 people have asked me to do their weddings. Mm-hmm. I've refused all but 2 of them. And the reason why I don't like to do weddings is I think people take the sacrament lightly. And, if I'm not convinced that, this is the right thing or that this marriage is going to last, then, I think I'm well within my right to say, you know what, I'm not the right person to do this. But the fact is, of the only 2 of the people that I refused to marry are actually still married now. And so I think that's sort of telling about sort of the way we view marriage and the way we handle this sort of thing. But I think he's getting into a tricky situation. He's setting himself up for dispute. He's setting himself up for lawsuits. He's setting himself up for a number of things on a variety of different levels, whether it's dealing with, quote unquote, the law of God and having this sort of for-profit chapel. But also, he's setting himself up for a conflict with the state. If he's got a business, a for-profit business, then, if he wants to operate under Caesar's rules, he needs to operate under Caesar's rules.
Right. So you're agreeing with me essentially that if he's going to run a for-profit business, he has to comply with non-discrimination laws.
Well, yes, I think he needs to apply with non-discrimination laws. To put it in a different context, you can't say, well, I'm not going to marry blacks.
Right.
If you're running a for-profit business, but
interracial marriage up until the 70s.
In Virginia, yes,
was illegal.
Right.
As Barack Obama pointed out, his mother and father could not have been married in Virginia when he was born. So where is the concern? Where is our conversation here?
Well, I think our usual conflict would probably be in the broader issue of, looking at the case of what's going on in Houston, where you've got the mayor saying that she wanted to see everybody's sermons that have to do with gay marriage or gay issues, and then she backtracked from that position. I think that there needs to be.
I think that's an overstatement of what the mayor said.
I don't think it's an overstatement. She certainly modified her position after sort of all the outrage sort of showed up and appeared on her doorstep.
I think that Fox is so good at creating these victim stories, and that was a classic one. That there's no there. There's a lot of Sturm und Drang, but there's no there. This had to do with are you complying with state and federal laws that say that if you're going to maintain...
It's up to the mayor of Houston to decide whether you're complying with state and federal laws with regard to what goes on in churches that happen to be in the city of Houston.
If you're going to maintain your tax exemption and not pay taxes to the city of Houston, the city of Houston has a right to know if you're operating legally.
But the church still has the church operates on a higher authority, certainly higher than...
Well, then let them pay taxes.
Why?
Because they're using, if your church is going to use my tax dollars for your police protection, for your fire protection, for the roads that bring people to your church, for the education so people can sit in the pews and sing the song along with you and know how to read. If my tax dollars are going to subsidize your church should operate.
Hold on. But the church,
as a church,
the tax dollars aren't
not as a political agency.
The taxes aren't subsidizing the church.
Of course they are.
First, no. Let's start. No, that's not. That's a faulty syllogism.
If you're a 501c3 church, you don't pay property taxes.
I'm not getting a check from the government to say, here, council, here, go run your church the way you think is appropriate.
You absolutely
But the fact is, if somebody comes to me and says, council, you have to marry this person, I don't have to do anything. Yes, you can maybe file some criminal charges against me. You can sue me, but you can't make me marry somebody that I'm not.
No, I'm not suggesting anybody should.
But the mayor of Houston, I think, was leaning that direction.
The mayor of Houston was not looking at that. The mayor of Houston was looking for prohibited political activity, if my recollection is correct. But
I think she was looking for a media headline.
It could be, but that's not the point in case here. The point in case here is whether religions should be allowed to discriminate, and if so, how and where. And I think that even if we're talking about not-for-profit, if we're talking about churches, yeah, of course, you can say to somebody, no, I don't want to marry you, but that's a different thing than saying to somebody, I don't want to, that you don't want to marry them because of their race or because of their gender or because of their sexual orientation, those kind of things. And why isn't that as good of a criteria for me as a minister to use as I don't think this marriage is going to last, or I think this marriage is sort of mocking God? There's no difference. I'm given a wide discretion as to who I can lay hands on when I ordain them, who I can join together in holy matrimony. Right. And, it's up to me. They can easily find somebody else who can do it. No, there's no shortage of people who can do these sorts of services. I understand your point. But I can't be compelled or made to do it. But if you want me to subsidize you, But you're not subsidizing me. I certainly am. My parish needs a new roof right now. I can't go to State College, Pennsylvania, or even the governor of Pennsylvania and say, hey, I need money for a new roof. You're not subsidizing me. But you are not paying property taxes, are you? We are not paying property taxes. Okay, but then I am subsidizing you.
No, you are not subsidizing.
Or at least the people of your community are subsidizing you.
That's crazy logic. Just because I'm holding on, our parish is holding on to our money, and because everybody else in this room has to give money to the government in some way, that doesn't mean that the church is being subsidized. You're in a community. You're using the services of that community. You're not paying for the services of that community. That means this community is subsidizing you. And if the community is subsidizing you, they should have the right to say, and here are the conditions on which you want to operate. And I personally would have a problem with that. I was ordained in 1972. I've done six weddings over the years, and well, I don't want to get into the whole thing about me, but anyhow, I was a pastor of a church for 2 years in Detroit, and in the early 70s, and I think that it's I understand running as a not-for-profit. I think frankly, if we're going to have not-for-profit for religious organizations, it should be limited to monasteries, because a monastery has no way to make money. And I think that monasteries are and both genders are actually good things. I think they're like beacons of light in the world, but they have no way to make money. So therefore, they can't. But if you want to have a church and you want to particularly engage in political activity, pay taxes. Well, engaging in political activity, I think that's a whole nother issue. Well, deciding who you're going to marry for reasons other than religious reasons is engaging in political activity. Who said it's for other than religious reasons? Okay. There's this book called the Bible, and it has some specific guidelines in there and general guideposts that clergy are supposed to use when determining who you're going to perform a ceremony for. Well, and I get that. I mean, if you're going to marry people who are in the same religion as you, I can give you a long list of people that I don't marry, and I can give you a long list of reasons why I don't marry certain people under certain circumstances. Of course. But the state doesn't get to come in and tell me what to do. Yeah. You can punish me, you can fine me, you can do whatever you want, but you can't make me do something I don't want to do. I think that's not unreasonable. And in fact, that's the law, that's the way things are. But I'm taking an even more radical position here, saying, if you really don't want the state to tell you what to do, then pay your taxes. There are no taxes for the church to pay. Okay. Bishop Council Nedd II. Hang on just a second. This is the Thom Hartmann Program. Founding member of Project 21, chairman of In God We Trust, nationalcenter.org is the website. And thank you for being with us today. Thanks a lot. It's always good to see you. We'll be back.